Hi, Mark here. I trust you're well. Welcome to a recording of a live Lightroom skills and support session. As you can see, I'm currently away from the office, but we still hold these events live when I'm on the road. This recording was made on the Monday, the 13th of October 2025. And the narratives we looked at were, well, it was questions that you had. Importing GPS data. We also looked at the survey mode. I remember had a question about that. We also looked at syncing, importing, managing our images from our smart devices and our cameras on the road. I answered some of the questions that attendees had problems with, and we discussed as a community, how can we do things? Now, I hope you enjoy the recording. Please bear in mind it was recorded October 2025, so Adobe changes the software, but you may get some knowledge from workflow, for example. If you'd like to come and join us on these live events, just visit lightroommark.com and you'll see all my upcoming events. Narratives are published in the title, and more information is if you click on the word details. Pop-up will appear telling you all about the event, what we're going to do, what you can expect. And the beauty about coming live is you can ask your questions on the topic. I look forward to welcoming you one day on any of our Lightroom live events. And without any further ado, let's jump across to the recording. Bye for now. I think we're there. Evening, everybody.
Evening.
How are we?
Good.
Good. All right, Jay, we've missed you for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we had some work done in the home, and dealing with contractors and stuff interfered with the important stuff.
Well, the stuff we like to do.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, AD, you asked a question last week about survey mode.
Yeah.
Can you zoom in on the photo? And my reply was not to the best of my knowledge. And I've asked my companions that do the same thing as I do, do YouTube recordings, all those type of things, and everyone has said, I've had about 12 replies. Yes, you're totally right, Mark. You cannot zoom in on survey mode. I said, I thought I was right, but you always have that nagging down, don't you? So,
yeah. Well, I have found a way to do it, Mark.
Okay, that's brilliant. Teach me something. I'm all for it. How can you do it?
Basically, when you're in the survey mode,
Yeah.
if you click the X and Y button in the bottom left-hand corner, then you get a little zoom slider. You can zoom into both images, zoom in and out together.
But only when it's two images?
Only there's two images, yeah.
Right, okay. So when I was going through the filter and we were narrowing them down and the screen real estate was changing.
Yeah.
So let's have a look. Let's see. I'm all for learning new tricks. Let's have a look. So I'll go back to them and say, sorry guys, you're all wrong. We've worked it out. So if we're going to select two images, I'm in the grid view, everybody. So for those who just come, AD last week asked about when you're in survey mode. So survey mode is selecting some images, pressing N, and you can see them, but you don't have to select these six. We could select this one and hold the Command or Control key down and randomly select and then press N. And if you've got a filter turned on, so we're going to turn attribute on unflagged. So these are unflagged images. I can press X and it disappears. I can press another X. I can press P and leave two images. So down the XY key down here, we're talking about.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. There you go.
Then
You've got the zoom button.
Okay. Yes, because that's now goes to candidate mode. That's no longer in survey mode.
Right. Okay.
You've changed the mode.
Right.
So
okay.
yes, it's the same thing like I showed you in the develop module. You're changing the mode. So You're no longer in survey mode. Survey mode is the next one, and you can't do anything. You say if you're on the survey mode,
Right.
that's survey mode here. You're gone to when you said X, Y, I thought you were talking about the keys.
Ah, right. No.
X, Y, because you get the slider here. And if you're not seeing that, everyone, down in the right-hand corner, see, you're in compare mode.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So yes, when you get to two, you're totally correct, but you've changed the mode. So no, you can't do it in the survey mode. That's why when I went with two, you're in compare, but I kept my mouth shut. But yeah, but thank you for that. That's brilliant. I've learned something tonight that I knew you could do that in compare mode, but that's a workaround. You get down to the last two,
Yeah.
switch from survey to compare, and you can zoom in and out. So that's a get round to the last two. All right, John, you all right? Good, good.
Yes, thank
Right,
you.
brilliant. Um, Last week, it's a Q&A this week, so get your questions ready. Last week, Joan asked me about GPS, and I wasn't really prepared for it, to be honest. So I wanted to show you some real life GPS so you can actually see, because you need the GPX file, okay? So we'll quickly do that, and then I can put that to bed. Okay, so let's get rid of this. So I'm in the library view, and I've just got some 164 images that I took 2 days ago on Normandy Beach. To show you they're not GPS tagged, there's the camera. And if I change this to GPS data, there's no coordinates. To reaffirm that, I'm going to open up an image. I'm going to go into the metadata, into EXIF. EXIF is the data that comes from the camera. And you can see there's no GPS data there. Okay. So I'm going to select the images that I'm going to work on, go to the map module. We come down to the little curly whirly. Remember the curly whirlies? And we're going to load the track. I'm going to go and find the file, which that was the bit I was missing last week. I think it's in my downloads. There you go. It's a GPX file, which is a GPX file for those that don't remember. It's a series of GPS. GPS is a single location. When you stack multiple GPS locations together in a line, it becomes a GPX file. So we're going to choose it, and it loads the track. Okay, so if I hide this and I hide that panel, you can see where I walked. Okay, and I have a little Garmin InReach. I have that for my safety. It's a satellite communicator, but it's also it constantly every nanosecond it records my location, which is why you see a physical line. Some devices, if you let's say you use the geotag photo 2 app I told you about, and you set it to, let's say, a 2 minute interval, you get a point here and a straight line to here. Then you'll get another straight line to here. So it's every 2 minutes, or whatever the frequency you take the GPS. But you can see I might have walked from here up to here, down to here, and over to here in 2 minutes, and taken 5 or 6 photographs. So if it was a 2 minute frequency, I'd have a point, let's say here, and I'd have a point here. All the rest of them would have been missing. It's just a straight line. In my practice, my GPS data, where exactly I took the photograph is really important to me. Okay, and same with audio. All right. So this is the important. You can use the app, smartphone apps to do this, but they eat up your battery. So we now have my log, what I walked in Classic. You can add this to mapping software as well if you wish. It's multi-use. Then the bit that I couldn't show you because it was all grayed out. says auto tag the 164 files, which is in that collection that I got highlighted. So if I go back down there, 164 auto tag. And there we go. Classic looks at the time and date stamp of the photographs taken, looks at the GPX file, and marries the times together and associates the GPS data with the file. So let's open here, go here, there's a file, there is my GPS data. Okay, I can click on the file, see the image, I can go to D for develop, etc. So that's exactly how it works. The important thing is your date and time, because when Classic looks at the GPX file and the GPS data, it will also look at the time that you took the image, and it says, where were you and did I take a photograph at that time? And if you did, it marries the two together. So if you don't change your date and time, then it says, oh, I'm an hour ahead. That means the pictures are an hour behind, or whatever the time zone is. And that's why we looked at changing time zones as well. Okay, so I just wanted to recap on that from last week.
Thank you.
Right. Please, who'd like to ask a question first?
I'll go again.
Go on, David.
I've had a couple of, I say a couple, it's been a bit of a problem for a while. Images on my iPhone,
Yeah.
if I look in Lightroom on the phone, they're showing as Lightroom and DNG files.
Yeah.
But on the computer here, they're not coming up.
Okay, so the first thing I would suggest you do, so we need to be a little bit of a Sherlock Holmes, okay? Is where is the blockage? Where is the problem? Is the problem on your phone? Is it in the cloud or is it in Classic? Okay, so let's work this one out. So here's a little something for you. If you go to a web browser anywhere in the world and type in, it says, lightroom.adobe.com. This is your cloud in the cloud. I am literally, I've put my head through the curtains and I'm looking straight out the window. I'm looking straight at the cloud. I'm not looking at Lightroom on my phone, and I'm not looking at Lightroom on my laptop, and I'm not looking at Lightroom Classic. I'm looking at the cloud. So the first thing I would do is ask you to look here. Okay, and this is where you don't need to take a laptop with you. You don't need to take an iPad with you. You're going to India. You just take your camera, take a cable, or take a card reader, and you come here and press plus, top right, top left hand corner, press plus, and drag your photographs into here. And you're taking them from your SD card into Lightroom. And that means you can double click here and you can edit the images. You can share the images. You can do whatever you want. Bear in mind, it's a file, therefore it takes up your storage. Okay, so you can edit them on the road like this. So there we go. And the edits will come down to your phone, to your tablet, and to Classic. Okay. So my first thing would be look there. Okay. Right. If they're there, then my suspicions is there's a problem here. Okay, so what we do is we go to the cloud. That's in Classic. We go to the cloud, we go to the cog, and we expand here. And you might have a line that says error. If you've got a line that says error, you need to highlight it and delete it. Highlight it, right click, and so there we go. These are uploading. Okay. All these things are uploading from Classic to the cloud. So it might say here, see, look, it says sync data. So that's syncing in their image, and it might be an error. If it's an error, highlight it, right click, remove from all synced. Okay, it will disappear. And it's like a crash on the motorway. It's stopping everything. Okay, so that's
Okay.
what I,
Yep.
and this will keep
Yep.
on going, keep on going. If you hold your Option or Alt key down, you've got this Rebuild Sync Database.
Yeah.
Click that. Don't worry about the reports or whatever. It'll refresh the database and start again.
Mhm.
Okay, so those are the three things I would suggest you look at. Oops, let's get rid of that. As a starters. If you've got any more problems, just book 20 minutes, David, and I'll help you a little bit further.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah.
No
Fine.
problem.
Yeah.
Okay, I did what you said, and I found that in the cloud, I only have one picture in October. So
Hmm.
it hasn't gotten my pictures from my phone up to the cloud. So what
Okay.
do I do if the cloud's the problem?
Okay. So firstly, on your mobile device, I would check that it's syncing. So click on the cloud and it will say, is it synced? The next thing I would do is, have you run out of storage
On my phone?
on in the cloud? So if you click in
No,
Classic,
no, I only have 17 gigabytes out of 100 gigabytes.
right? Okay, so there's plenty of room there. So so in the mobile app, bear with me, I'll tell you where it is under settings, app settings, if I remember rightly. Shout out if anybody else knows off the top of their head.
You
In
say the mobile app, do you mean
Yeah,
Lightroom?
yeah, Lightroom on your phone.
Yeah,
If you press the three little
yep,
dots, come down to app settings.
yep.
I think it's cloud storage and sync. And down the bottom it says prevent from sleeping.
Cloud storage and sync.
Thing. Prevent from sleeping.
Prevent from sleeping, that's on.
That's on. Okay, so that's good. Then the other thing I would get you to check is plug it in to the mains. Okay, power, because it might be on for 20 minutes and don't want your battery to go flat. Go to your iPhone, Android,
No, iPhone.
iPhone. So go to your settings, go to display and brightness, turn off your screen auto lock. Okay, so you can do that now. So if you go to settings,
Okay, I did settings and then go
then
to,
to its display and brightness, I think it is.
yeah,
And then three-quarters of the way down, it says lock screen or something like that.
auto lock,
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Okay, so turn that to never, just while we're doing this Zoom.
Yeah,
Okay, now go back to Lightroom and leave it on.
okay. Leave it
Okay,
in Lightroom.
leave it, just leave it like that because the other suspicion I have is that you're shutting the device down and it's not sending, it can't send it.
Right.
Yeah, it's like you close
Yeah,
the book and you can't read it anymore because you closed the book.
right.
Okay, so just leave it. Is the cloud, if you click on the cloud, the top right hand corner, does it say syncing?
It says synced and backed up. So it thinks it's synced.
So it says that they're all there.
But when uh, and the little, it says pause syncing. So it thinks it's synced and backed up.
Okay. Okay. So then the next thing, are they in the cloud?
Well,
Have you?
Lightroom, let me refresh Lightroom and on my browser. Aha, aha, yes, now they're in the cloud.
Okay.
So you think it was when I refreshed, it's in the
Possibly.
cloud. Do you think it was the fact that the screen locked?
Well,
Or
th-
just,
th- it's one of those things that it could be anything. The cloud is such a fiddly thing. For
yes,
example, my workflow for the cloud is I use the cloud for me for moving files around, okay, from device to device. So taking things with the phone, if I haven't got Classic with me, I'll put them up there. And as soon as I've got them in Classic, I take them out of the cloud. I do not use files, and that's the important word, files, in the cloud. I keep it as free as possible. This training catalog that I've got, right, to demonstrate the point, right, I've got in here 56 megabytes. I click here, 56 megabytes. And I free it up, I clear it up. I treat it like an SD card.
Right.
Okay. I,
Yeah.
you take pictures with your SD card or your CF card or whatever it is you're using, and you put it into your computer and you transfer the cards, the files across. Then you put it back in the camera and you format it. Right, so they're
Right.
erased, and that's that cloud. The bit that's the 20 gig that's in the cloud. That's I treat the same workflow. I'm only using the cloud electronically to move things around, and I put everything in Classic. Now, if I want those pictures in the cloud, that's when I use a collection and I send it back to the cloud as a collection smart preview. Doesn't count towards my storage. That's why I've got most of my work images in the cloud at zero storage because it's a smart preview. Okay. And I've got a filing structure that it tells me straight away, that's all my Lightroom Classic smart collections. That's all my files that I've plugged my camera in. I've used my smartphone and they're all up there and down. And once I've got them into Classic, I delete them out of the cloud. I go to Lightroom and I delete because I've got them local in Classic.
Right.
Okay. But we're going to do this on in the program, which is
Right.
virtually fully laid out until December next year. I think it's end of October. I've got the program up to at the moment for next year. Um, we're actually doing lots of different things like cloud and backup and so on, etc. So lots of different skills-based stuff.
Okay, I think what the problem was is I had a file that was no longer on the disk, and
Hmm.
Lightroom, it thought it was in Lightroom.
Yeah.
So it that had blocked
Yeah.
the importing.
Yeah.
And when I discovered that earlier today, I removed that
Yeah.
from the input, but Lightroom thought it had synced because of
Yeah.
that block. So I
Yeah. That's
think
right.
the
It seems to
original,
hit an
right,
accident.
so the original cause was the deleted file that Lightroom
Mhm.
thought still
Yep.
existed.
Yeah.
But
And that.
but thank you. I understand now the real way to check is to go to Lightroom in a browser and see
Yeah.
what's in the cloud.
Yeah.
So I get it. That helps really
Yeah.
connect it together.
So
Thanks.
my workflow, when I sync, I just leave the device on and I only sync one product or one device at one time. I can't juggle five balls, so I'm not asking Lightroom to juggle five balls. If I've gone out with my mobile phone and I've taken 160 pictures with my phone, I let the 160 sync to Lightroom. Then I power up my iPad or my laptop or my desktop and then allow those 160 files to download. Once it's then downloaded, I then go in and say, right, I've got all those. I move them to my local drive rather than the cloud, and I delete them from the cloud. So I'm doing one thing at one time, not confusing the Lightroom Classic, and it probably could handle with it. But I know checks and balances. I know I took 164 images with my phone. I sync them. They come down. I look on Classic, 164 images. I move them onto my local drive from the cloud storage space on my computer. I move them to the local cloud. Then I go off to Lightroom. Oh, 164 images. Delete. I've removed them from the cloud because a picture taken with your iPhone or Android phone or tablet or a picture that you've sent using your camera is a file. You're transferring a file, a photo file. That counts towards your storage.
Got it. So the 18 gigabytes comes from my phone uploading, and
Correct.
those are real files.
Correct.
Now they've downloaded to my Lightroom on my desktop.
Yep.
How do I, in Lightroom browser mobile,
Yep.
how do I do, should I delete them from the
Yes.
cloud?
So what you do, where they've
How,
downloaded to, you move them from there into your filing structure. Okay, so in my case, they go into a date folder, and I move the files into the same date folder in my OWC drive, my external drive. I move them from the cloud location, because you have a location where they download to, just like Dropbox does and so on, etc. You don't put everything in Dropbox or everything in OneDrive. You have a local storage drive. So I move it from the cloud. Okay, so
okay, well, this I didn't really understand.
okay,
When I go
so
up to my folder structure, there is what's on my hard disk, and then above that says cloud
that's
in
right. So
iCloud. So what is actually on my catalog is probably just a preview. The actual file is still up in the cloud.
so we've got this image here, this location here, this
Yeah.
location, which is called I call cloud, which you've obviously done because that's what I do. It comes from, if you press the cloud icon and press the cog, it says, where do you want to store your photos locally that are in the cloud? You have to tell it where to download to. And I say, download it to a folder called cloud and then put it in a subfolder the date that I took them. Right? So they will appear here. I've got nothing in my cloud folder here. So they appear here. Okay. So if I actually do something, so let's open this. All right, so let's see if I can find something quickly. See, these are all smart previews. Let's go here. 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 What's in here? Right, I'm just going to copy that. And I'm going to, I'm actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to the cloud. So I'm going to go here, 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 France, here. Okay, so I'm importing that picture. Photo will be synced to the cloud. So it's going to the cloud in my Lightroom. Okay, it's going to go up here. It's going to be a file. Okay, so this is syncing. You can see it's syncing up here. It's syncing one image here. Okay, so then it's going to come down to here in a minute. And when it comes down here, this location here, it's going to go into a folder, the date it was taken. But it's still in the cloud.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, so we just wait for that to sync. Once it's synced, I take that file and I put it in the appropriate space here. So it'll be something in here somewhere. So we just wait for this. There we go. There's the folder. 10th of the 10th, 2025. Now, if I haven't got a folder, all right, so what's happened is the picture is on my SD card. It's gone to the cloud. It's on my iPhone. It's gone to the cloud. Both the same things. The cloud is my storage device, my iPhone, my SD card. It's the same thing. It's the storage device. It's coming in. It's been imported in via the cable, but this is via the internet, and it'll appear here in a second. Right? So, and if I haven't got this folder, this date folder in my month folder, I will drag the whole folder and put it into the 10th, which is October. Yeah, I'm still waiting for it to sync. Right, sync one photograph. Yeah, but when that syncs, I drag it. There we go. Just wait for it to give me a green tick. There we go, green tick. I now take that and I'm dragging it local. Okay, boom. I've taken it from the cloud and I've put it in here. So I've done the same action as copying them from an SD card. This is my SD card, but it's the cloud. It's the same thing. It's a image, it's a place to store your photographs, an SD card, CF card, well, it's the cloud, and I've now moved it locally. Okay. All right, so that's where it is. All right. But what I have to now do is, just like on an SD card, I have to format my cards. Okay. All right, so I have to go and find the photograph. Okay, so we're going to date 2025, October the 10th. There it is. And now we would format our cards, but now I have to remove it, delete it from Classic. Sorry, from the cloud. So I've now formatted my card, or the equivalent action, right, in the cloud. I've removed that file or group of files, but because I moved it from the cloud to here, it's only a small file for Flickr, so it's a small file. But yeah, but because I moved it from the cloud, I've got this local. This is my local drive. Okay, so I've taken it out of the cloud, I've moved it, I've gone to the cloud and deleted out of the cloud. It's only because when you import from your SD card to Classic, you're copying them. 9 times out of 10, you'll copy them. They're still on your SD card. That's exactly the same thing you've done. You've taken it from the cloud and put it in your local drive. Right? Then you put your card back in your camera and reformat it. Well, you've got to go to the cloud and delete them from the cloud, but you still have it locally because you've moved it to this local location. Okay? Yeah? Okay, lot to take on.
Yes.
Mark,
Who's got the next question?
Mark, can I just have some
Yes,
help?
John.
Because it's Paul. Because
Oh, sorry, Paul.
I'm learning Lightroom, and how do you get a photo from your camera into the cloud? Is that where they got the connection into your tablet, whatever?
Okay, so there's several ways of doing it. It depends on what your end outcome is. If you just want to show somebody the photograph on your phone or send it as an email, low res or whatever, you can use what they call a smart collection. Sorry, a collection in Lightroom Classic, and you can put as many smart previews in a collection as you like, or multiple collections, and it will just sync to the cloud. You just literally you tick the box. So I'm going to create a collection. A collection is a group of images. I go plus, create a collection, and it says sync with Lightroom, which is the cloud. Okay, and then everything that you put in here, you get this little tail that's just here. These are in the cloud. All of these are in the cloud. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and to show you, I can go right click, link, view on the web, and just wait a second. There they all are in the cloud. And that will, you then give the same credentials to your devices and they talk backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Now, if you're going from Classic to the cloud to your devices, those are smart previews and they are not included in your storage. However, if you take your camera and either buy a cable, connect it to a laptop or to a web browser, like I'm a web browser here, press plus, go and find your camera or an SD card reader or something. It'll say go and find them, click here, drag them, whatever you want to do. Or on a tablet, same principle. Or some cameras you can plug into your phone and do it that way, or you can Bluetooth it and you give the Lightroom the credentials, which is a one-time operation usually, and it syncs to the cloud. Leaving a device, so a tablet, smartphone, camera, you're sending the file file, the whole raw file or JPEG file, counts towards your storage. Right, so you can have about 3,000 images for 20 gig, depending on your camera. They go to the cloud, and when you load up Classic, they will sync back to the cloud in your associated folder. Okay.
Cheers.
So you get a little card reader. You can have CF. Actually, here we go. So this is an OWC. It's an American company. This is Thunderbolt 4, I think this is. But this is a CF and SD card reader in one. Plugs in USB-C, or I could plug a USB-C cable in the back there if I wanted a longer one. And it just plugs into a laptop or an iPad or anything like that. So I can take the chip out of the camera, plug it in here, press import, and it'll import them into Lightroom or Classic or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, John, you had your hands up there.
Yeah, the question I was going to ask is if you have a mixture of original files and smart previews in your cloud, how do you determine which are which so that I can tell what are counted towards my storage so I know which ones to delete?
Yep. It's always a difficult one, that one. Let's show you. Let's find Zoom. So there's a filter bar in Lightroom. Okay, so this is Lightroom, same on a tablet and a phone. Come to the filter bar here, synchronized, and it will say syncing. It will say backed up. All right, so you got a date there. And that's because I'm clicked on a folder. You say backed up, and then it says synced from Lightroom Classic. So there's all my files synced from Lightroom Classic. If I click out there, the reason why it didn't come up in the first time was I was on a date and it didn't have any. And it says original online. I've got no original files in there. So that says to me that all of these are smart previews. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So if I'm guessing you want to strip out your actual files, clear out your storage, you would click on that one. And just come to mind, there is another way of doing it. You can Classic all synced files, okay?
Yeah.
And then you could then filter by attribute and where's smart preview these days? That should be a smart preview. Oh, can't find it. But there is a smart preview somewhere that has a smart preview. It says develop. Here we go. Status smart preview. And you go, yes. And there we go. All 2000. They're all smart previews. I know they're not files, but it will say no smart preview or smart preview. The smart preview ones, when you're highlighted sync to the cloud, because it's looking at this sync to the cloud, show me all my smart previews. Those are the ones of the classics. The ones without, when you've got this highlighted, if I was here and then did the same thing, this will be looking here what files are smart previews. If I go into a collection and click here and turn the same thing on, I could press lock. This would lock the view now. So look in this location at 164. If I change the location to, so I'm looking here, how many smart previews have I got? It will say has no smart previews. All mine have smart previews. It's the way I work. So if I click here, this is looking in the whole of my catalog and it would say has got smart previews. Well, that's all my files. All my files have got smart previews. If I had some without, it would say has not got smart preview. And the ones that have not got smart previews, I would put the money on it. They are your files from the cloud.
Right. Thank you.
All right. So several different ways there. Anybody else? Any questions?
I stirred up a hornet's nest there, didn't I?
We know you so well, David. We don't mind. But the cloud is something. What are you going to use it for? That's the first question. Are you going to use it to share images with friends and family? Are you going to use it to, because in the cloud, you can allow download. Okay, so you can tick a box and say any pictures that I put into that into that collection that syncs to the cloud, people with the URL can download the image. It's a little tick box and download it, or tick arrow, and they can download the smart preview, not the raw file, smart preview. Okay, so paint your scenario. You're going to an event, a birthday party, and the people that have invited you, all your friends and family, they all know you take loads of pictures. You could set up a collection beforehand, send them an email with the link, or send them an invite, and Adobe will send them an email to say, Mark sent you an invite so you can look at these images, and you can give the album the permissions for them to download the images. So rather than going, oh, Mark, you came to the party, and then having 200 people send you can just reply to the text message with the link and just say, click on this, and you can download a file that's big enough for an 8x10 print. Okay. You might want the cloud to do that. If you just want a website, you get a cheap server for very little money, $20 a year, something like that, for a 100 gigabyte server with your own free domain name. You can publish your own website in Classic. You create a collection, you choose a theme, you hit publish, and it sends it to, and they get a nice web page. They can click on the thumbnail and see the picture. No download, and that is more for permanent, semi-permanent stuff, because you can just leave them up there and not worry about them, and it's just a 1,000 pixels at 72 dots per inch. It's a very low res file. So and that's how I share my family images with my family. Okay, so I've got a little email list that I just quickly send an email just saying, hello all, here's some pictures for the kids when they were young at Disneyland Paris. There's the link, click, boom, that's it. It's dead and buried as far as I'm concerned. The gallery, they can see the 140 pictures, done. Yeah, I'm not sharing them. I know they won't want prints, or if they do, next time they come around, they'll say, can I have that picture, please? I go, yeah, sure. All right, so you can run a website in the web module in Classic. But if you want to start sharing, we've got next year, we've got one about FTP, File Transfer Protocol. How can I send the DNG to a server? How can I share that photograph with somebody that's a bit more technology driven? Yeah, you might want to share it at a particular size, at a particular pixels, a particular 6,000 pixels by 300 dots per inch, because that's what they want. You want to share it with a news desk. You want to share it with a customer. You want to share a high-res file. And we do that by what we call FTP. And so we've got a whole evening about that next year. You might, did you know, some of you will know this because I've said it before, did you know you can directly email within Classic pictures? All right, rather than going file export, going off to Gmail, typing in the email address, typing a subject line, typing the email, adding the attachments, sending the email, then clearing up your desktop because the JPEGs are sitting in an export file on your desktop. Oh, that's waste of time. you can just email within Lightroom Classic. You set it up beforehand with your POP and SMTP and your email address and your account name and your password, and you go email. It'll make them whatever size you want to make them. You type the email address, you type the subject line, you type the email and press send, and Classic will send them for you. So that's another way you can share images in Classic. And we got a whole evening on that. Okay. And I will talk you through all the settings, how to set it up so you can send from most email services, some free, some not. Some people I know here have got their own server, so you can control all that. Okay. All right. So Jay's got his own server. I know that. With FTP, Jay can upload high-res files to his server, right, as a backup. Original file format or high-res JPEG or a DNG or whatever as a backup. Or he wants, then he's got the URL that he can share with family and friends. They can download the high-res file.
Right, but actually what I do is in the web module, I export the files.
Yeah.
And then I go into Dreamweaver and create the page to link to them. Because usually there's a group of files that I want to group together.
That's a little bit more complicated, and you and I know how to HTML code, but does everyone else?
No. For a single website, for a single event, it would be much easier and quicker to do that FTP rather than to export and go through Dreamweaver. It's because I want to group webs.
You have your own individual requirements.
So. Right.
So does people here have their own websites at all to share galleries, albums?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So do we use WordPress?
Yep.
Yeah. So there are plugin managers that you can share through publish services. Everything that's in Classic that you want to share with your website and your gallery on your website manages it all from Classic, and that's how I do it. And if I make an adjustment in Classic, it goes to me, hey, Mark, you need to republish this picture because you've changed the metadata or you've changed the edit or you've changed the size or you've done something. And I have to hit the republish button. And on the website in the background, without me doing anything else, I just hit republish. It replaces with the new version. And it presents the new version on the website. And I can manage it and control it. Actually, about 12 websites, all from Classic. So when I say, what do you want to do? It's thinking really what Classic will do virtually everything you want it to do, or will give you an avenue to do what you want to do. So we've got next year Silver Effects. Silver Effects, in my opinion, is the best black and white editor out there. It's got a magic source. I absolutely love it. I've got to upgrade my one. I've got an older version. It's absolutely brilliant. But if you use DxO, you try and get your catalog and all that type of data out of DxO. In my opinion, it's very difficult. But with Classic, you just go right click, edit in, Silver Effects. You do your editing, press save. It puts it right next to the original file, and you continue on with your workflow.
The older Silver FX is still free, so you can
yes.
have the older one.
Yeah, I think they're on version 8, and I think I'm on version 5. I think I've got to upgrade mine, so see what all the new gizmos are in the new one. So they want some money off me as an upgrade. But yeah, so we're going to be looking at Silver Effects. So lots of different things next year. Anyone else got a question?
I would just
you'll run out of questions, Jay.
okay.
I'll come back to you in a minute. Yes, David.
They're fairly quick ones, but so I'm importing a sequence of images which are way out of date, and so my they're all going onto external drives, and I've changed my external drive now. So I started my new one in 25, and these are sort of 4 years behind.
Yeah.
How do I just get around that sort of quickly and easily so that I can always find them and I
Are we
know where
talking
they
about
are?
are we talking about locations, as in date
Yeah,
locations?
yeah.
We're not talking about.
Yeah, I'm importing these into Lightroom. They're not in Lightroom at the moment.
Okay. So so at your parent level, so if you go right click and it says hide parent if you're at the top, or it will show parent if you're not at the top. This is at the top level. Go right click and add a new folder. Okay, so I'm going to add new, press plus, add a folder, and I can add the location of the folder, or if I go add subfolder, it's going to say, so I now type in there. So I've got 2007. So 2006, and there we go. So I've now got 2006 there. I go again, create a folder, 2005, one more, 2004. And then you just put them in those appropriate folders.
So when I'm importing them on the other side,
Yeah.
everything's going into
I'd do this first. I would
yeah,
do
yeah,
that first, and then when I go import,
yeah.
it's already here. So there's my 2004, there's my 2005, there's
Ah,
my 2006. So
okay. So
it's a little bit smaller here. It's a little
yeah,
bit bigger over here, and that's the reason why.
okay, yeah, yeah. Got
Yeah.
that right. Thank you.
It's
And presumably, when you're looking
you
at
get a bigger pop up, you get this and so on. So it's add a folder or create a folder.
okay, and when you're looking at cloud storage, you've got to add all your individual devices, presumably, to get a total cloud storage figure.
Um, well, yeah. So if you took things on iPhones and you took things with your camera, yeah, and then also on video. So if you took things video, I send everything pictorially, video, and that I take with my iPhone wherever my iPhone is. I've got the new 17 Pro. Everything I take with it, whatever camera, whenever, because I've got unlimited data. When I walk around, I leave it on all the time, so it's constantly syncing to the cloud. Because I come back and I sit and go, I've got to wait 3 hours for all that to sync to the cloud because it's 150 meg or 250 meg or 350 meg or whatever it is, 2 gigabytes, 5 gigabytes, whatever it is. It can take ages. So when I take a photograph, I let it sync to the cloud straight away. So when I come back, all it is doing is downloading it. So yesterday when I went out, I think it was 160 something photographs I took with my phone and videos. As I'm taking them, I'm leaving the device on and they're uploading to the cloud via the cellular network. So so when I get back to here, all I've got to do is download them. They've already synced. So yes. And then if I plugged my camera in and synced it to the cloud, they would have that data as well. So yeah, you just have to manage it. Like you fill up the bath with water, you have to pull the plug out.
Yeah, but you
So
can't upload to the cloud from your camera when you're walking about, can you? So it's
yes, you
only
can. I do.
how?
You can do it via Bluetooth, or you just you can either do it by Bluetooth, or you plug that in there. You plug that in your mobile phone. Go click here. It goes straight down to your mobile phone and goes up into the cloud. So this will be up my sleeve. In my press days, that will be up my sleeve, round the back, into my pocket. Click, 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 click. And all of them will just be syncing up into the cloud. Or I could sit and wait 20 minutes and then just do it in one hit with a cup of coffee or something. Do it by Bluetooth, that takes longer. But just plug it in. And what I do a lot of time, I've got a little tiny USB-C to USB-C cable, and I just plug it in here, plug it in my iPad, and import them, and that's it. It's done. So there's loads of different ways to do it. It depends on what your needs are. But you're out on safari. You're out on safari. You come back. You plug your cable into there. Your cable into the camera. Hit add photographs. They all come across, and that's it. You're done. And they then just sync to the cloud. Whilst they're on your computer or laptop or phone, once you've imported them and it says import completed, then it will sync to the cloud. While it's going through that syncing process, until it's had what they call that handshake, yes, I've sent it, yes, I've got it, that's good. It's the picture stays on your device. Once it's in the cloud and has been confirmed that it's in the cloud, it will be removed from your device. So you're not filling up your device. So here's one about management of your photos. If you have um, auto import turned on in Lightroom, you can remove all your pictures from your albums on your phone, your native iOS pictures or whatever, because they've all gone to the cloud. Okay. And then you can manage them all in Classic. Okay. And then sync them back to Lightroom as smart previews. So they're not taking up storage. Okay.
Okay.
We'll look at all of that in the weeks that we do web and so on, etc. Soon.
Okay. Final question is, I had an email telling me that my Adobe subscription had run out 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I'm blowed because I can't get that again now. But I'm just waiting, thinking.
Is it the 30-day notice?
The email said, and I checked, it said it had expired 2 days
Right.
previously.
Okay. All right. Well, you might be on the new contract, and that might be costly because you might have to pay for Photoshop.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be the only one that I can find. But I
Yeah.
was just going to ask, is it worth waiting until November? Do you think there might be a deal that will come out Black Friday?
Well, there was a deal 2 days ago. It was about £70 off. But as I said to I think it was Tim last week, if you're on the old deal, which means you get Lightroom, Lightroom Classic, and Photoshop with 20 gig of storage, stay there
Yeah, but
because yeah,
what do you mean
because
renew it before it runs out?
correct.
Yeah, I missed it. I just didn't realize. I thought I would have an email to remind me.
No, because they want you on the new contract. The new
Yeah, quite.
contract is Lightroom and Lightroom Classic with 1 TB storage. And if you want Photoshop, you've got to pay extra for it.
Yeah.
If you want 1 TB storage, you can upgrade your storage from 20 gigabytes, 100 gigabytes, and then to 1 TB and then 10 TB storage. You can upgrade it on a monthly fee, and it's month by month. That's not an annual contract. And there's a little tip here if you're going to go away on holiday, 2 or 3 days before you go, buy the 1 TB for $9.99 or whatever it is. And then when you come back, quickly download them all and then cancel it. And if you're not on like day 20, I think it is, or some 22 or whatever it is, if you before day 22, they'll refund the whole amount of money to you. So you've had 1 TB storage for free. And two people here, no, that lady's not here with us tonight. They both, oh, Joan's done it several times.
Yeah.
She goes on a cruise for a couple of weeks, gets the 1 TB a few days beforehand, or even a day beforehand, and off she goes, uploads the 1 TB on the ship on her cruises, comes back. First thing she does, turns her laptop on, leaves it to sync, gets it all down, moves it out the cloud, cancels her 1 TB subscription, and they send her £9 back. Right. Jez, is the available? Yes, Wednesdays will be on YouTube. So that's Lightroom Mark on YouTube. Wednesdays will be there. Mondays are not. They're for members only. Sounds like a lot of data streaming to the cloud, probably storage problems and cost. Depends on your internet connection and your internet speed. here in the UK, we normally have unlimited data. Well, I'm not in the UK, I'm in France, but unlimited data. We not there are some mobiles that are capped at data, but it depends on what your personal circumstances are and your plan, etc. I have unlimited data on all my mobile devices, so I just don't get any bills really. I pay about £24 a month for unlimited data, unlimited calls, and unlimited texts anywhere in Europe. Is there a cheaper way without streaming data? Yes, Wi-Fi. So hotels, go and buy a cup of coffee in a hotel, use their internet. I would get a VPN if you do that because you don't know what you're connecting to. I have a small little router. It's a Netgear little wireless router that I put a SIM card in it. The device did cost me £600, and I pay £24 a month for unlimited data European wide, but it's my own equipment, it's my own hotspot. There was something that I read on, and I don't believe everything that was online, but I think it was one of the Formula One events in America a year or so ago. And in the server farm, on where they had the free Wi-Fi, somebody had put a cloning device in, and they ripped out the internet connection for everyone free. You don't know what you're connecting to, so if you're going to connect to a free Wi-Fi, I suggest you get a VPN, virtual private network. Google do them, NordVPN, Norton. You can get them several packages for about £10, something like that, and they secure your connection. So that's that. But yeah. But then it's if you're doing it at work or something like that, you got access to work Wi-Fi. That'll be solved. Right. Anyone else? Any questions? Gone over an hour. Go on, Jay, quickly.
Quickly, when I've downloaded my iPhone import, did it download the file or just because it shows the folder under on my hard disk. So those actually the file has been downloaded.
Yeah.
And that's probably all the 18 gigs. So I can remove the 18 gigs that's
But
up
you
on.
need to take them. That location called cloud is a mirror of what's in the cloud. If you don't move them from your local drive out of that, if you don't drag and drop them, when you delete them in the cloud, they'll delete them out of that folder. It's a live connection. It's a synced connection. You need to move them. It's like, delete them.
Dropbox.
Sorry?
It's
Yeah,
like
exactly the same.
Dropbox.
Exactly the same. You need to move them out of Dropbox
Okay.
because if you delete them in Dropbox, they'll disappear off your Dropbox folder.
Okay.
All right, so you just drag them into, that's why I use a date structure. You drag them into the same date folder in your local outside the cloud, and then you can go to the cloud and delete them.
I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else any questions? Oh, deadly silence. So, Monday, importing. We're going to look at last week Monday, because last Monday I was traveling. We looked at the tools of importing. This Monday, we're actually going to import. I'm going to show you my importing workflow. What tool, when I use it, why I use it, how I use it. We'll go through all the tools and we'll import some images. The week after, we're going to incorporate mobile devices and the cloud for importing. So I will show you the rest of, there it is on your camera. This is how it's going to be in Classic. That's this week. And what I do, and I truly believe that if you identify where you want to get to with your importing, what am I going to look for? How am I going to file things? All that type of questioning. If you can identify that, you can do it all on import. And that is 95% of your digital asset management, your organization of your files on import. So one click, boom, done. Okay. And then we'll look at how can I leave classic importing those 3,000 images that I've taken from wildlife photography this weekend, or I went motorsport or whatever and so on. I've imported them. How can I now go downstairs and leave the computer running for an hour and go and spend time with my family, sitting in front of the TV or in the garden with the Pims or whatever, but with my iPhone picking and rejecting them? That's the week after. So we'll look at all that. And I can do 10,000 images in less than an hour. Final culling them, keywording them, descriptions, everything, all within 10,000 images of a shoot within an hour. Okay? Speeding up workflow. Right then, well, lovely to see you. Recording will be on YouTube, maybe tomorrow if you're lucky. I don't know what the plans are for tomorrow from France here. But a couple of days you'll have an email. All right. Last chance. Any more questions? Nice to see everybody. Take care, stay safe, and hopefully see you Monday.